Hi everyone, I'm Angela and welcome to Crafting with Angela. Today I am going to do a video on how to make a pokey tool. This is a pokey tool that I recently made. You can see it here, all the different orange beads, and it's got a dangle on it as well, with a charm. I'm going to be making something similar to this but in a different colour. So let's see how it goes. So this is everything that I am going to be using to make it. As well as this, I will need some glue. So I have this B7000. It's a multi-purpose adhesive. It's a bit thicker than the glues I would normally use, so hopefully it works quite well. I also have a variety of jewellery pliers. So there's fine and tipped, there is round, there's bent, and there is the wider. Really I'll probably only use these two, but this came as a set and I will keep them together just in case I need them. So I can see I'm going to use those two, and then the other thing we have here is the needles. So I got these in a pack of 9 needles in 3 different sizes. So you can see here there's the 3 different lengths of needles. I will be using the middle size for these, but you can use other things. I've seen people doing this with cocktail sticks and whatnot. I just like the needles. One, I like the fact that it already has the head on it. It stops beads going the whole way off, but also allows you to make it really easy to put a dangle on, and I like the dangle on the end of them. So let's get to making this. First of all, I have my beads. So let's see if we can stop these beads running everywhere. Oh, it's always difficult. Okay, so I have a wide range of beads. Just so you can see, this is one of my bead boxes. These are beads that I have collected over the years, either getting them through sales or getting cheap costume jewellery in charity shops and just breaking them apart. And I've just gone through my beads and found these beads that I think look interesting. As well as that, I also have some charms. So this is my box of charms. So I have everything in here from animals to hearts to feathers to angels to trees, insects and everything. So I've just decided the colour scheme I'm going for here is a blue green, and because of that I like to have a sea charm. I think a sea left sea charm, so I think I've gone for a seahorse here. So there's my charm. I've gone for the seahorse. For the dangly bit, a couple of things you'll need. I have this, it's a 50mm or 2-inch head pin used in jewellery making. With this one comes with a round head on it, and that's how I like to join it onto the charm. I have the charm, and I also have some smaller beads in here. So I have, let me just go through this and pick out the bits that I need specifically for the dangle, if I can avoid. What I'm going to do is, sorry, I am just going to come in with all these beads and throw them onto a tray so they don't run away on me. So if you just give me 1 minute. Okay, so as I mentioned, let me just move everything on. This is, I call it my jewellery tray. The reality is it's the lid of an IKEA box, but I think it works just as well as anything else. I'm going to leave my glue off to the side there. This is the needle that I'll be using. I'll leave it on the top. And then what I do now is I split my beads into whether they're for the dangle or for the needle. So, sorry, what I was starting to say was I have some small beads. And sometimes the way I work whether a bead is for the dangle or the needle is literally just taking the needle and checking, does the bead fit onto it? So you can see here, it doesn't fit onto it, so that's going to be for the dangle. Also the smaller beads tend to fit for the dangle. So again, that one doesn't, so those small. It's not the only way to do it, but I just like double checking and seeing what my options are at the beginning. I also find it's really good if you can put these out at this stage. So that one fits on. This one should fit on, yeah. Okay, so the majority of these fit on. This heart I had hoped would fit, but it actually doesn't. So I might keep it for the dangle, I might not. A couple of other things then here. There's a couple of metal things here that are not beads. So let me just bring them out into the center so you can see them. Those two beads go over there. So I have a couple of things here. I have jump rings. These are 4mm jump rings, and I have quite a few of them. I'm not going to use them all, but I always like to have more than I need because it's easier than trying to find them when you're in the middle of putting something together. I use them to attach the dangle onto the needle, and also attach the charm onto the needle. So there's the charm, so that's going onto the dangle. These then are bead, oh, I've forgotten the word of them. They go on the top of beads. So let me just show you now. So you put your bead on, and then that goes on there, and you put it top and bottom, and it just finishes the beads off. I have them for the needle. So I'm going to start with working on the dangle first of all. It's the smallest one, and then we'll move on from there. So just bringing my pliers over to my side. So the first thing I want to do is, this is the end that's already the circles, the end that the charm is eventually going to go on. So I'm holding it that way. And then all I want to do is look at what beads I have here and what pattern I want to make. You don't want too much, you want 5 or 6 beads along here in total, especially when they're this sort of size. So I am thinking a small, I'm going to change that. I'm going to put one of the small beads on first of all. Okay. You can get proper bead trays that actually allow you to do this much easier. You put them round, and then it puts them in, but I just use this tray just as much. So do those. I'll come in with one of the pearlescent ones, and then I think all I'm going to do is go back. So I'm going to go for 6, I think, on this. Just reverse the pattern, and then another one of the tiny ones. Okay, and that's going to be my dangle. Kind of feel it needs something in the middle there. Let me just have a look. Sorry, I have this set of fixings here, and I think I just want a small spacer bead to go in the middle. So I'm just looking to see what ones I have. I think that one there might work nicest. It's not going to add much bulk to it, but what it will do is maybe just give it that bit of a definition in the middle. Okay, so let's have a look at that and see how that works. I'm going to take the last 3 beads off there, put the spacer bead on in the middle. Oh, it might be too big. Let's see what that looks like when we put the other beads back on. I'd have preferred a thinner spacer bead, but unfortunately I don't think I have any ones that are that shape. I have thinner spacer or other spacer beads that are more beads. Yeah, we'll go with that. Okay, so now we're ready to finish this dangle. So I'm just going to hold it by the base. All you want to do is come in with your round nose pliers and just turn it to yourself. And all you're doing is turning it round. Should have been turning it around on itself here rather than okay. All I'm wanting to do here is to turn this end into a hoop, and then what you need to do is come in. At the minute I have that end bit just sticking out a bit, and we want to make sure it's as flat as possible. It's not sticking out, so I'm just working with the pliers a bit. Then I'm going to come in with the pliers on the bottom hoop and hold it there, and then try and just twist this top one so it's sort of more in line with the other one. Okay, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a jump ring on here so that it the charm's going to go off it, and then I'm going to put a couple of jump rings off this so it can hang off the needle. So what a jump ring is a circle of wire, but it's not attached. So if you look around the jump ring, you'll find there is a part of it where the two ends don't quite meet, and all you want to do here is put pliers on either side of that divide. And then the secret to this is once you have them on either side is you twist. You don't pull, you twist. So push one way and the other, and that opens it up like that. And keeping the pliers holding on there, I'm just going to come in on this end with my charm and thread it through the end of that jump ring. And then I'm going to come in with my dangle and feed it through there too. Come back with your pliers and again twist it back into place. You might need to twist a couple of times or move your pliers a couple of times to get them lining up, but because you're twisting rather than pulling, they will line up nice and straight. What I sometimes do is just twist it back and forward a wee bit just to make sure that the ends tap, and then give it a bit of a pull like that, and that double checks that you have put all together. Now what I want to do is I want to make a bit of a chain. So in this sample one that I made earlier, I put together 3 jump rings plus the one that was in the end of the needle. Really, I think it could have done with an extra 1 or 2. So what I'm going to do is put form a chain with the jump rings. Once you find where the edge of them are, once you find where the opening is, if you can manage to avoid dropping them. I made my the orange one there, I made it in about 5 minutes without dropping a single thing. Now that I'm recording, I am dropping everything and it's taking me ages to record, so apologies everybody. Again, we're just going to come in here like this. Twist the two ends. I'm going to come in and put 2 jump rings on here. What you want to do is hook 2 jump rings on over that. Okay, so we've got a 3 chain. So you probably can't see that, but that's 3 of them together in a chain. And I'm just going to try and work that because it didn't quite close perfectly straight. Okay, I'll put one more on the end. And while I have this one open, I am going to attach it to the dangle. This is the same way that you make dangles for junk journal decorations and things like that. So coming back in with the, not the middle hoop. Make sure when you put it on this time you're putting onto one of the 2 end hoops. Okay, and then I'm coming in with the dangle now and putting it through that hoop that we made on the end as well. Right, it takes a bit of moving back and forward to get this to work right, and I'm not sure how visible everything is, but there we go. There's a chain. There's a chain now with the dangle and the charm. So that's that side all completed. I'm going to need one more jump ring. So what I'm going to do now, before we start working on the needle, I'm going to add a jump ring to the end of the needle point. Oh, good grief. You can get lots of different sizes of jump rings. These are the smallest ones that I have. In all honesty, it would probably be better to be using a slightly bigger one for this, but how much difference it makes to the jewellery, but definitely for opening and closing it. Now all I'm trying to do is feed that open jump ring and try the thin flat nosed pliers to see if that would help better, because sometimes it's about getting a better grip on. Okay, and then I'm just going to come in here and close that off. I will open it up later, but although I don't think I'm doing it with this one, let me just show you. The reason I do it like that and put it on before we start putting any beads, and that doesn't really move that far, you know, is this one here. I put a heart bead the whole way to the top, and that jump ring just helped keep that bead in place so it wouldn't go the whole way off. Don't think I'm doing that with this one because I don't think I have that heart bead that I thought fitted really nicely, or you know, was a nice pattern. Unfortunately, it doesn't fit through, so we're not going to be using that. So let's move. I'm just going to take all of this in a wee tub that I keep my extra beads in. I'm just going to throw them all in there out of the way. That just keeps everything tidy. And now we're moving on to the dangle. No, we made the dangle. Now we're moving on to the actual needle. the pokey tool itself. So here we have the pokey tool with the jump ring on the end, and then all I'm going to do is look at the pattern. Now this is one time I will consider putting it out, so I like to have a big bead. I like to have a symmetrical pattern, so I like to have something single bead in the middle and something coming off either side. And again, I'm looking at these sort of in the size of the beads. Also like those shiny ones. Those black ones, and maybe those two small blue ones. Just trying to see, do I want, I might put two of those green ones at either end as well. Okay, and then because I have done that, I can then look at the bead caps. I knew I would remember the word bead caps. I'm going to look at these bead caps and see if there's any particular beads in here that I think would look good with a bead cap on them. So let's just have a look here and put the bead cap on, and then the bead, and then another bead cap. That looks quite nice. So we can put the big caps on them. I think the big caps might be too big for these beads, but yeah, I don't think they're quite the right size, so I like them on those teal glassy beads. Let's see, what are they like with the big bead in the center? No, they're the wrong size, but I might have some in a bigger size. Those are going with the teal beads there. Okay, let me have a look and see if I have a big cap that will fit with them. Okay, so I had a look for bead caps that might fit that bead, and unfortunately I don't quite see one, so I'm going to go without for that one, just go for the two teal ones. So all I'm going to do now is start at the end of the pattern. I'm going to put a tiny green bead on there, and then I'm going up in size, so green, blue, silver, really nice green, blue, black beads. I don't quite know what colour they are. Then I'm going to put a bead cap, a nice teal bead, and then another bead cap, a silver bead. Oh, there you go. If you'd have said to me, I would have sworn those beads fitted on there perfectly, but they do not. Let's leave them to one side. Maybe put the darker green metallic ones on here. And going in, I'm working the pattern backwards. So that's the pattern to the middle. And all I'm going to do here is work the pattern backwards. Oh, these beads are frustrating the way some of them fit and some of them don't. I check these all out. And the bead cap, the turquoise bead, and the bead cap, glass bead, and you can find where the end of it is. These fit, but you do need to push them in quite hard. And then silver, blue and green. And there is my pokey tool all decorated. Because some of these beads are quite tight, I don't think we need to worry too much about them falling off. But what I do want to do is I want to go in and glue the bead down, and I glue the bead down just in the very final one using the B70. So let me take these extra beads out of the way, just to keep things tidy. So how I glue this down, I take the last bead off, and this glue, when you unglue it, it has a metal point that keeps it stiff, and then keeps it airtight. Okay, so when you take this out, it has a metal point. It also smells like super glue. It's that quite strong smell. And I just hold this upright. I'm going to come in and just push this glue down around that last blue one. What you want to do is try and get it into around there. You want to push it down into the hole if you can, so push it up and push it back down again. All you want to do is make sure you have enough glue here to hold that in place. Come in with your green bead, and if you are worried about getting your fingers stuck in the bead, you can come in with in the glue. You can come in with the glue with your pliers and just push it down. You can see that glue's already stuck there. So that's those last two beads stuck together, and then I just come in at the end and put a very thin layer of glue at the end of the bead, and that just holds that bead in place. Okay, I'm going to put the stopper back in the glue, and then all I need to do is give that some time to dry. I do know people who've used hot glue gun to do this. I just think a hot glue gun is quite thick, and this is much neater. Also because you've got the head of the needle on one end, the bead can't go past that, and with this it just looks, I think, so much neater. So all we need to do now is come into this and add our dangle onto the end. So we're going to do exactly the same as we have done with all the other jump rings. So I'm coming in here, trying to find the end of it again. Okay, so I'm coming in here, I find the end of it, I'm taking my pliers on either side and twisting, bringing this one in so it can go, the jump ring can go through that, and then I'm just going to twist it back again. And again, I am just working the pliers slightly to make sure that that jump ring closes properly. Not quite there. Alright, this is easier to do if you're not having to do it for a camera, and you can bring it up close into your eye line and see what you're actually getting at. So when you're doing it at home, you will hopefully find this much more enjoyable than what I'm doing here. But there we go, there is the pokey tool. So let's take that tray out of the way, and what we have now is a lovely blue-green pokey tool with a dangle with the seahorse on it, and then there's the one that I made as a sample before this with the heart at the top, so covering the needle point there if that's something you would like, with the dangles there. I hope you will go and make your own pokey tools as well, and I hope you enjoy it.